Bicycles are one of the world's most popular modes of transportation, with some 800 million bicycles outnumbering cars by 2 to 1. Bicycles are also the most energy-efficient vehicle. A cyclist burns about 35 calories per mile. The first phase of building the bicycle is making the frame. The most important part of the bicycle is the frame, which links the components together in the proper geometric configuration. The frame provides strength and rigidity to the bicycle and largely determines the handling of the bicycle. The frame consists of the front and rear triangles, the front really forming more of a quadrilateral of 4 tubes, the top, seat, down, and head tubes. The rear triangle consists of the chainstays, seat stays, and rear wheel dropouts. Attached to the head tube at the front of the frame are the fork and steering tube. The metal is annealed, or softened by heating, and hollowed out to form hollows, or blooms. These are heated again, pickled in acid to remove scale, and lubricated. The hollows are measured, cut, and precision mitered to the appropriate dimensions. Frame sizes for adult bicycles generally run from 19-25 inches from the top of the seat post tube to the middle of the crank hanger. Next, the hollows are fitted over a mandrel, or rod, attached to a drawbench. To achieve the right gauge, the hollows pass through dies which stretch them into thinner and longer tubes, a process called cold drawing. The tubes may be shaped and tapered into a variety of designs and lengths. The taper gauge fork blades may have to pass through more than a dozen operations to achieve the correct strength, weight, and resilience. Tubes can be joined into a frame either by hand or machine. Frames may be brazed, welded, or glued, with or without lugs, which are the metal sleeves joining 2 or more tubes at a joint. Brazing is essentially welding at a temperature of about 1600 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Gas burners are arranged evenly around the lugs which are heated, forming a white flux that melts and cleans the surface, preparing it for brazing. The brazing filler is generally brass or silver, which melt at lower temperatures than the tubes being joined. The filler is applied and as it melts, it flows around the joint, sealing it. ZTHE assembled frames are placed into jigs and checked for proper alignment. Adjustments are made while the frame is still hot and malleable. The next phase is assembling the components. Depending on the style of bicycle, the gear shift levers are mounted either on the down tube, popular on racing bikes, on the stem, or on the handlebar ends. A cable is attached, which extends to the front and rear derailleurs. Front derailleurs, which move the chain from one drive sprocket to another, may be clamped or brazed onto the seat tube. Rear derailleurs may be mounted with bolt-on hangers or integral hangers. Handlebars may be raised, flat, or eye-dropped. They are bolted to the bicycle stem which is then fitted into the head tube. The headset components, including bearings, cups, and lock nuts, are attached to the head tube. The headset allows the fork to turn inside the head tube and thus makes steering easier. The brake levers are mounted to the handlebars. Cables extend to the brakes and are fastened to the calipers. Tape, made of plastic or cloth, can then be attached to the handlebars and the ends are plugged. Seat posts are generally steel or aluminium alloy and are bolted or clamped into position. The saddle is generally made of molded padding and covered with nylon or plastic materials. Although leather was the norm for saddles for a long time, it is less commonly used today. The crankset supports the pedals and transfers power from the pedals to the chain and rear wheel. Cranksets consist of steel or aluminium alloy crank arms, chain rings, and the bottom bracket assembly of axle, cups, and bearings. They are attached with bolts and caps into the bottom bracket of the bicycle frame. The pedals are then screwed to the ends of the crank arms. Wheel manufacturers conform to the AJ International Standards Organization system for wheel diameter and tire sizes. Wheels may be constructed by machines, which roll steel strips into hoops that are welded into rims. The rims are drilled to accept spokes, which are laced one round at a time between the rim and hub flange. A wheel must be trued, or straightened, in radial and lateral directions to achieve uniform tension. Next, the rim liner, tire, and inner tube are attached. The chain may also be fitted onto the bicycle. Rear wheels are fitted with a free wheel, consisting of several cogs and spacers, which frees the rear wheel from the crank mechanism when the rider stops pedaling. Wheels are attached to the bicycle frame by means of an axle which runs through the hub of the wheel. The axle may be tightened with bolts at the ends or with quick-release skewers. And here's the bike. Blue, white, black, however you like it. That's all. Thanks for watching. See you next time.